The stars shimmered like diamonds across the black velvet of space. The royal ship Elindra glided smoothly through the Verelian sector, its silver hull reflecting the distant suns. On board, Princess Lyra sat quietly in her chamber, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns of her alien robes. She was only 16 cycles old, but her mind carried the weight of her entire people. The galaxy was not always a safe place, and as the daughter of the ruling family of Verelia, she had been trained to lead, to think, and to survive. Lyra looked out through the wide viewport, her violet eyes scanning the distant stars. She loved the quiet moments when the hum of the ship's engines blended with the silence of space. But today, that peace would not last. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared. Red lights bathed the room. Lyra stumbled to her feet, fear racing through her veins. Through the glass, she saw them. Fast, black ships darting like predators, closing in on the Elindra. Marauders, space pirates. The royal ship's emergency siren rang louder as Lyra's personal assistant, a small hovering drone named Caro, zipped around her. "Princess Lyra! Shields are failing! They are trying to board!" Caro's voice was panicked, though the little drone tried to stay calm. Lyra's heart pounded. She had trained for such moments, but training was never like the real thing. She ran to the command room where her mother's most trusted officers were already scrambling. "Status!" Lyra demanded, though her voice quivered. "Princess," Captain Ravon said, his tentacle-like appendages moving quickly over a holographic control panel. "They disabled our outer shields. We cannot hold them off for long. Evasion maneuvers will only delay the attack for a few minutes." Lyra clenched her fists. She had always believed her people were strong, unyielding. But watching the marauders approach with weapons that could pierce the Elindra's hull in seconds made her realize the danger was real. Suddenly, a violent explosion shook the ship. The command room's windows cracked, and sparks flew from the control panels. A deep rumble echoed through the hull. Lyra lost her footing, sliding across the floor. Caro zipped to her side. "Princess, we must evacuate," the drone insisted. Lyra knew he was right. The escape pods were their only chance. She ran down the corridor, the ship twisting and shaking with each hit. Alarms screamed, lights flickered, and smoke began to fill the hallways. She felt a hot gust of air as another explosion rocked the deck above. Finally, she reached the escape pod bay. The pods were designed to launch at high speed, capable of leaving even the heaviest ship behind. Lyra hurriedly entered a pod, inputting the emergency coordinates that would take her to the nearest safe planet. The pod's hatch sealed. The engines hummed, then roared. She felt herself being flung into space, the Elindra shrinking behind her. Her stomach twisted as she watched the royal ship, the home of her family and her people, being torn apart by the marauders. Tears filled her eyes. She wanted to scream, to call out to her mother, but the pod's communications were already damaged. She was alone. The pod's small screen flickered with damage reports. The hull had been breached in one corner. The heat shields were failing. Lyra gritted her teeth, holding herself tight. "I will survive," she whispered to herself, a promise she wasn't sure she could keep. Hours passed. The pod drifted toward the uncharted planet of Terrace 5, a world known to explorers as barren and dangerous. Its surface was rocky, filled with jagged mountains and deep valleys. No civilization had settled there, though strange energy readings had been detected. Lyra's pod would land somewhere in the middle of this hostile land. As the planet loomed larger on the screen, the pod's descent began. The atmosphere shook the tiny vessel violently. Lightning flashed across dark clouds, and the pod rocked as it pierced the planet's turbulent air. Lyra's hands gripped the sides of her seat so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Finally, with a deafening crash, the pod slammed into the rocky surface. The world shook. Rocks and dust sprayed around her. The pod skidded across a small cliffside before finally coming to a stop. Lyra unbuckled herself and staggered out. Her legs felt weak, her body aching from the impact. She looked around. The sky was a deep, stormy gray. The mountains stretched endlessly, jagged and forbidding. There was no sign of life. Only the cold wind and the distant rumble of unseen storms greeted her. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She needed to survive. That was all that mattered now. For the next several hours, Lyra crawled through the rocky terrain, searching for shelter. Her injuries slowed her. Cuts on her arms and legs burned, and a deep gash on her side made each step painful. Kiro hovered above her, scanning for dangers, its small lights blinking urgently. "Princess, we need to find water and shelter before nightfall," the drone warned. Lyra nodded, though she could barely speak. Her mind was racing, thinking of her people, her home, and the attack that had left her here, alone and abandoned. She had been trained for leadership, but leadership in a council room was nothing like survival on a hostile planet. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with streaks of red and purple, Lyra found a small cave hidden between two cliffs. It was dark and cramped, but it would protect her from the harsh winds. She crawled inside, her body trembling from exhaustion and fear. Kiro followed, projecting a small light to illuminate the space. "Princess, your vitals are low. You must rest," the drone said softly. Lyra leaned against the rough wall, closing her eyes. Memories of her family, her ship, and the attack flooded her mind. She thought of her mother's words. "Courage is not the absence of fear, Lyra. Courage is acting even when fear is present." But courage felt very far away now. She was cold, hungry, and in pain. And most of all, she was completely alone. Night fell over Terrace 5. Strange sounds echoed from the mountains, growls, whistles, and the howl of the wind. Lyra shivered, pulling what little cloth she had around her. She tried to sleep, but fear and pain kept her awake. Her mind wandered. Will anyone come? Will I survive this? Hours turned into what felt like an eternity. Lyra's strength waned. Every movement was painful. She knew she could not stay here forever, but she also knew that moving in the dark, stormy night could be deadly. She whispered to herself, trying to keep hope alive. "I will survive," she repeated. "I have to." At the edge of consciousness, she thought she saw something in the distance, a faint glow moving through the rocky landscape. But she was too weak to investigate, and the glow disappeared as quickly as it appeared. Perhaps it was just her imagination. By the first light of dawn, Lyra's injuries were burning with pain. She had slept fitfully, the cold and the strange noises of Terrace 5 keeping her on edge. Yet something in her stirred, a flicker of determination. She could not give up. She would not give up. Kiro hovered close, scanning the horizon. "Princess, I detect energy readings nearby. Something alive is in this area. It could be a rescue team or another threat." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. Hope surged and faltered. Could it be help or another danger? She didn't know. But she had no choice. She had to move, to survive, and to find a way off this desolate planet. With careful steps, she began to crawl out of the cave. Her legs shook, her body screamed, but she forced herself forward. Every step was a victory, a declaration that she would not be defeated. As she trudged forward, the Rocky Mountains stretched endlessly around her. The planet was harsh and unforgiving. But Lyra's spirit burned bright. Somewhere beyond this desolation, she would find hope. She would survive, and she would live to see her people again. Little did she know, help was already on the way. Across the galaxy, a human soldier was en route to this very planet, guided by strange energy readings that would lead him to her. But that was a story for another day. For now, Princess Lyra fought against the odds. her courage her only weapon. Alone, abandoned, and hurt, she became a symbol not just of her people, but of the will to survive against impossible odds. And so, the journey of the human soldier and the alien princess was about to begin. The planet Terrace 5 was quiet, except for the soft wind sweeping across jagged rocks and cliffs. But beneath the calm surface, a new presence stirred, a stranger from far across the galaxy. Captain Alex Mercer of the Earth Exploration Corps navigated his small scout ship through Terrace V's stormy skies. The sensors on his ship were alert, picking up strange energy readings in a remote part of the planet. His mission was simple: investigate unknown anomalies and report back to the Corps. But Alex had learned long ago that no mission stayed simple for long. The energy readings were unusual, not natural, not from the planet itself. Someone or something had been here recently. Alex squinted at the readings on his control panel, curiosity and caution mixing in his mind. Looks like someone's out here, he muttered to himself. Let's see what's going on. He guided the scout ship through turbulent clouds, dodging flashes of lightning and sudden gusts of wind. The small craft groaned under the pressure, but Alex's steady hands and years of experience kept it under control. Below him, the jagged mountains of Terrace 5 stretched endlessly. Craters and cliffs marked the landscape, and strange, faint glows flickered here and there, traces of the energy readings. Finally, after careful navigation, the scout ship touched down in a relatively flat valley surrounded by towering rocks. Alex cut the engines, leaving the craft silent except for the occasional hum of its systems. He donned his exploration suit, a durable, flexible armor that protected him from the planet's storms and harsh terrain. His helmet's visor scanned the area, highlighting energy signatures. One reading stood out. A faint but distinct life signal. It was weak, fragmented, but alive. "Someone's hurt," he said under his breath, "and they're close." Alex grabbed his survival pack, loaded with supplies, medical tools, and sensors, then stepped out onto the rocky ground. The stormy wind lashed at him, but he moved with steady determination. His boots crunched over rocks and gravel as he followed the signal's faint pulse. Hours passed. The sun had begun to lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the jagged cliffs. Alex stopped at the edge of a small ravine, adjusting his sensors. The readings were stronger now. The life sign was close, weak, but present. He descended carefully, each step measured. Then, through the mist and dust, he saw it. A small cave nestled between two cliffs. The energy readings were strongest here. He approached slowly, ready for anything. Inside the cave, the faint light of the sensors revealed a small figure lying on the ground. Alex's heart skipped a beat. It was an alien, a young female clearly injured and unconscious. Her silver-purple hair was matted with dust, and her robes were torn. Cuts and bruises covered her arms and legs. Alex knelt beside her, carefully scanning her vitals. The readings confirmed what he already suspected. She was alive, but weak and in serious condition. "Hey," he said gently, his voice calm and reassuring. "You're safe now. I'm going to help you." The alien stirred, weakly opening her violet eyes. They were wide with fear, confusion, and pain. For a moment she did not speak, only stared at him. "You're alive," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Who are you?" "My name is Captain Alex Mercer," he replied softly. "I'm human. I'm here to help you. You're hurt, but you're going to be okay. Can you stand?" Lyra tried to move but winced in pain. Her injuries made even a small movement agony. Alex carefully supported her, helping her to a sitting position. "Careful," he said. "We need to get you somewhere safe first." He scanned the cave. It was small, but it would do for now. He activated a portable med kit from his pack, gently cleaning the worst of her wounds. Lyra winced at the sting, but Alex's calm and steady presence made her feel safer than she had since the attack on her ship. "What happened?" she asked weakly. "You were attacked," Alex said gently. "Your ship, it was destroyed. You're lucky to be alive. But don't worry. I'm not leaving you here." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. She had thought she was abandoned, left to die alone on this harsh planet. And yet here was a human, a stranger, risking time and danger to save her. Her people often spoke of humans as unpredictable, reckless, and weak. But Alex's actions proved otherwise. I don't know your people," she admitted softly. I don't know if I can trust you." "You can," Alex said firmly but kindly. "Right now, you need to rest and recover. I'll make sure nothing happens to you." Over the next few hours, Alex worked tirelessly. He treated Lyra's cuts and bruises, stabilized her injuries, and ensured she had water and food. Her strength slowly returned, though she remained wary and quiet. "You humans are," Lyra began, struggling with her words. "Different than I expected." Alex smiled gently. "Different can be good," he said. "Sometimes it means helping when it matters most." The alien princess studied him, noticing the calm determination in his eyes, the confidence in his movements, and the care with which he treated her. She realized that humans were more than simple creatures of muscle and tools. They had courage, ingenuity, and compassion. Night fell over Terrace 5, and the storm outside the cave intensified. But inside, Alex had made a small, safe haven. He built a protective barrier around the cave's entrance using portable shields from his pack. Lyra watched him work, fascinated by the human's ability to adapt and problem-solve. "You really think of everything?" she said softly. "I try," Alex replied with a small smile. "I've learned that survival isn't just about strength. It's about using your mind, staying calm, and helping others when you can." Lyra nodded, impressed. Her people valued intelligence and leadership above all, and she could see these qualities in him. Somehow, despite the differences between humans and Varelians, she felt a connection forming. "Why are you helping me?" she asked quietly. "You don't even know me." Alex paused, considering his answer. "Because it's the right thing to do," he said finally. "I don't need to know you to help you. Everyone deserves a chance to survive." Lyra felt a warmth in her chest she had not felt in days. She had expected abandonment, cruelty, or indifference. Instead, she found courage and kindness. Perhaps humans were not so reckless or weak after all. The storm raged outside, but inside the cave a fragile peace settled. Lyra rested on a makeshift bed, Caro hovering quietly beside her, while Alex kept watch. He knew they would need to leave the planet soon. But for now, the priority was recovery. Over the next day, Alex guided Lyra through basic survival exercises, how to move without aggravating her injuries, how to find clean water, and how to detect potential dangers. He also taught her some basic human signals for communication, so that if they were separated, they could still find each other. Lyra listened attentively, absorbing the lessons. Every day she spent with Alex, she admired him more. Humans, she realized, were not just physical beings. They were capable of empathy, strategy, and courage that rivaled even her most disciplined Varelians. As the second night approached, Lyra looked out of the cave at the starry sky above. She thought of her family, her destroyed ship, and the marauders who had abandoned her. But now, for the first time since the attack, she felt hope. Alex noticed her gaze and placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "I know it's been hard," he said, "but you're strong. You've survived worse than most, and now we have a plan to get you to safety." Lyra nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. I don't know how to repay you." "You don't need to," Alex said firmly. "Just survive. That's all that matters." As the night deepened, the cave became a small haven in a harsh, dangerous world. Outside, the wind howled and the mountains loomed, but inside, the human soldier and the alien princess prepared for the next step of their journey. Together, they would face dangers, explore unknown lands, and build a bond that neither species could have anticipated. And though Lyra did not yet fully understand it, her life had changed forever. The human soldier who had found her, tended her, and saved her from certain death was not just a rescuer. He was a symbol of hope, courage, and the strength of humanity. Somewhere in the distance, hidden by mountains and storm, the first faint signs of danger stirred again. But for now, the princess rested, the human soldier kept watch, and a story of survival and friendship began to unfold across the stars. The journey had only just begun. The dawn broke over the rocky cliffs of Terrace 5, casting streaks of gold and orange across the jagged landscape. The storm from the previous night had passed, leaving the planet's surface quiet but harsh. Princess Lyra stood near the mouth of the cave, her eyes scanning the rocky terrain. Though her body still ached from the pod crash and the injuries she had suffered, her determination burned brighter than ever. Captain Alex Mercer approached, carrying his exploration pack. "Ready to move?" he asked, his tone calm but encouraging. Lyra nodded, though she still needed support. Alex offered his arm, steadying her as she took her first steps outside the cave. The wind was cool against their skin, and the strange, alien landscape stretched before them like a challenge waiting to be conquered. "Our goal is to reach the river valley about 20 kilometers from here," Alex explained. "There's fresh water, some natural shelters, and fewer cliffs. It's safer than wandering randomly across these mountains." Lyra studied the terrain. Sharp rocks and sudden drops made the journey dangerous, especially for someone still recovering from severe injuries. Yet she trusted Alex's judgment. She had learned quickly that humans were resourceful, brave, and careful, even when faced with unknown dangers. As they moved, Alex scanned the surroundings with his visor. "Stay close," he instructed. "There are native creatures here, mostly harmless, but some are territorial. Keep your eyes open." Lyra nodded, her steps careful but steady. Every now and then she tripped on uneven rocks, but Alex was quick to catch her. She had never traveled like this before. No royal entourage, no guards, only her and a human who seemed determined to protect her. The thought both unnerved and fascinated her. Humans were fearless in ways her people rarely were. Hours passed as they climbed over cliffs, skirted deep ravines, and carefully made their way across loose rocks. Alex occasionally paused to show Lyra how to use a small energy scanner to detect hazards or locate safe footing. "You humans think of everything," Lyra said quietly, still struggling to catch her breath. Alex smiled. "It helps to survive. Quick thinking and careful observation go a long way." Lyra considered his words. Her people valued intelligence and strategy above all else, and Alex seemed to embody both. Yet, unlike her rigid tutors or strict instructors back home, he taught through example, quietly guiding without forcing her. At midday, they found a small outcropping that offered shade from the weak sun. Alex set down his pack and began preparing a light meal. Lyra watched, amazed at how he could make even this harsh environment manageable. "You don't waste anything," Lyra observed. "Waste is a luxury we can't afford," Alex replied. He handed her a small packet of rations. "Eat. You need energy." Lyra accepted the food and nibbled slowly, grateful for even this small comfort. As she ate, she asked, "Where are you from, human?" "Earth," Alex replied simply. "A planet far from here, home to billions of people. We explore, protect, and sometimes help others when needed. That's why I'm here." to investigate the anomalies on this planet. Lyra's violet eyes widened. Billions? That is, many. You must be strong or at least clever. To survive in such a place? Alex chuckled. We learn to adapt. Strength comes in many forms, not just physical. After eating, they continued their journey. The terrain grew more difficult. Loose rocks and narrow paths forced Lyra to move carefully. Alex stayed close, offering support, sometimes carrying her for short distances. Despite her pride, she allowed him to help. She knew she could not make the journey alone. As they walked, they encountered signs of wildlife. Strange, multi-legged creatures scuttled across rocks, and birds with translucent wings circled high above. Alex pointed out the tracks of larger predators, teaching Lyra how to recognize safe paths and hidden dangers. "You see these tracks?" he asked. "They're from a creature called a Teresian claw beast, usually shy but aggressive if cornered. If we stay on higher ground and move carefully, we should be fine." Lyra nodded, absorbing the lesson. Every detail Alex shared made her feel safer. Humans were resourceful, brave, and observant in ways she had never imagined. And yet, he treated her as an equal, not as someone to be protected or pitied. By late afternoon, they reached the edge of a steep canyon. A rushing river flowed at the bottom, its waters glittering in the sunlight. Alex examined the slope carefully. "We can descend here, but slowly. Hold on to me." Together, they climbed down the cliffside. Lyra's muscles ached, but she focused on each step, trusting Alex completely. When they finally reached the riverbank, relief washed over her. Fresh water, soft soil, and small caves provided a safe place to rest. Alex set up a temporary shelter using a portable canopy. He also filtered some water for them to drink. Lyra knelt beside the river, cupping her hands to take a sip. The cold, clear water revived her. "This is beautiful," she murmured. "Even on a harsh planet, life finds a way." Alex smiled. "Yes, life is stubborn, and it's worth protecting." That evening, as they settled by the river, Lyra began to talk about her life before the attack. She spoke of her family, her people, and her royal training. She described the vast cities of Viralia, the floating palaces and the libraries full of knowledge. Alex listened intently, fascinated by this glimpse into a world so different from his own. "I never thought I'd meet someone from another planet," Alex said. "It's incredible how different and similar we are at the same time." Lyra nodded. "Humans, you are clever and brave. I see it in how you protect and guide me. My people underestimated your kind." Alex shook his head. "You don't have to underestimate us. Some humans are like that, yes, but courage, empathy, and quick thinking, those are things we all can strive for." As the night deepened, they kept watch together. Lyra observed Alex as he checked the surroundings, his senses alert to the smallest movements and sounds. He was vigilant, yet calm, and that steadiness reassured her. During a quiet moment, she asked, "Do you ever get scared?" Alex looked at her, thoughtful. "Of course. Fear is natural, but courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting even when you're afraid. That's what matters most." Lyra considered his words. In her short life, she had faced training, political pressures, and now survival. And yet, in all those moments, she realized that fear had never paralyzed her as much as it did now. Yet with Alex by her side, she felt capable of facing anything. Over the next few days, their journey continued. They navigated through forests of tall metallic plants, crossed narrow ridges, and avoided dangerous creatures. Alex taught Lyra to use simple traps and signals for defense. They communicated through gestures, glances, and shared observation, forming a silent understanding. During one encounter, a pack of Teresian claw beasts approached. Alex quickly built a small barrier using portable devices, guiding Lyra behind it. He moved with precision, diverting the creatures without harm. Lyra watched, amazed at the human's skill and quick thinking. "You're incredible," she whispered. "Humans are clever," he replied. "We adapt." "That's how we survive." Lyra's admiration for humans grew. They were more than just bipedal creatures. They were thinkers, problem solvers, and protectors. And in Alex, she had found a guide, a teacher, and perhaps the first true friend she had encountered since the attack. By the 5th day, they reached the outskirts of the river valley. A small cluster of natural caves offered better shelter. Lyra's injuries had mostly healed, thanks to Alex's care. She was stronger now, able to walk and even climb with more confidence. One evening, as they rested, Lyra looked at Alex and said softly, "I don't know how to thank you enough. You saved my life. You didn't have to, but you did." Alex shook his head. "No need to thank me. Survival is enough. You're strong, Princess. You've survived when most would have given up." "That's something to be proud of." Lyra smiled faintly. "I feel different now, not just because of surviving, but because of you. Humans, you are brave, clever, and kind. I see now why my people should respect your kind." Alex returned the smile. "And I see why your people are special too. Leadership, intelligence, courage, it's clear in you. Together we make a good team." That night they fell asleep under the stars, the river murmuring softly beside them. Both knew the journey was far from over. Beyond the valley, more dangers awaited. Wild creatures, treacherous terrain, and perhaps even the marauders who had attacked Lyra's ship. But they also knew that together they could face whatever came. For Lyra, this journey was more than survival. It was a lesson in courage, trust, and the strength of humans. For Alex, it was a chance to witness the resilience and wisdom of another species. And for both, it was the beginning of a bond that would change their lives forever. The stars above twinkled as if watching them, silent witnesses to the journey of the human soldier and the alien princess. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but in each other they had found hope, trust, and the courage to keep moving forward. And so, their adventure continued, through storms, across cliffs, and into the unknown. Two unlikely allies united by survival, courage, and the spark of friendship. The river valley was quiet in the early morning light. Birds with translucent wings floated above the water, and strange, colorful plants swayed gently in the wind. Princess Lyra and Captain Alex Mercer had spent the night in one of the natural caves that offered safety and shelter. After days of traveling, Lyra's injuries had mostly healed, and her strength was returning. Alex checked the portable sensors he had placed around their temporary camp. "All clear," he said, "but stay alert. This planet is unpredictable." Lyra nodded. Her trust in Alex had grown, and she had learned to pay attention to the smallest details of the environment. Her people were trained in observation, and Alex had taught her to combine her natural skills with human ingenuity. As they prepared to leave for the next part of their journey toward the nearest safe settlement, the sensors on Alex's suit beeped urgently. He frowned. "Lyra, we're not alone." She looked at him, her heart racing. "What do you mean?" "Energy signatures," Alex replied, scanning with his visor. "Not native life. Something or someone from your kind, or close to it." Before Lyra could respond, a distant shadow moved across the rocky cliffs above them. The sound of engines, harsh and low, echoed through the valley. The marauders. "They found us," Lyra whispered. Fear and anger mixed in her voice. She clenched her fists, remembering the attack that had left her alone, injured, and abandoned. Alex put a calming hand on her shoulder. "We can handle this," he said. "Stay behind me. Watch and learn. We'll get through this together." The marauders descended, small black ships skimming just above the rocky terrain. They carried weapons designed to crush or capture. Lyra's heart pounded as the ships landed near the riverbank. Figures stepped out, moving quickly toward the cave. Alex crouched low, scanning the attackers. "They're organized, but predictable," he whispered. "We can use the terrain to our advantage. Follow my lead." Lyra nodded, trusting him completely. She had seen humans in action before, calm, clever, and fast-thinking, and Alex was no exception. Alex pulled out a compact device from his pack, pressing a few buttons. A holographic decoy of their camp appeared several meters from their real location. "This should confuse them for a while," he said. "Keep low and move quietly toward the cliffs on the left. The rocks will provide cover." They moved swiftly but carefully. Lyra's heart pounded as the marauders reached the decoy. The attackers paused, looking around, unsure which way to go. Alex led Lyra over rocky terrain, hopping across small ravines and ducking behind boulders. Every step required focus, agility, and trust in each other. "Why do humans fight like this?" Lyra whispered, amazed at Alex's strategy. "Thinking ahead," Alex said. "Clever moves can save lives. Strength isn't always enough. Observation, planning, and speed matter more than raw power." As they crept closer to a higher ridge, one of the marauders noticed the movement. "There!" the alien shouted, pointing toward their hiding spot. Laser fire shot past them, sizzling against the rocks. "Move!" Alex yelled, pushing Lyra forward. They rolled behind a massive boulder, narrowly avoiding the blasts. Lyra felt her heart hammering in her chest, but the trust she had in Alex kept her steady. From their new cover, Alex examined the situation. "We can't outrun them all, but we can trap them." He picked up a few loose rocks and a small device from his pack. With careful calculation, he set up a series of simple but effective traps, rock slides and energy barriers designed to slow and confuse the attackers. Lyra watched closely, amazed at the human's ingenuity. He used the environment, gravity, and technology in perfect harmony. "You really think of everything," she whispered. Alex smiled faintly. "It's called using your brain. Sometimes the cleverest weapon is the one your opponent doesn't see coming." The marauders advanced, unaware of the traps. As the first ship descended too close to the rocky slope, Alex activated the device. A controlled rock slide tumbled down the cliffside, blocking the ship and forcing the attackers to scatter. Lyra gasped as the rocks crashed safely, but effectively, in the path of the enemies. "Now!" Alex shouted. They moved to higher ground, using rocks and small cliffs to shield themselves. From this vantage point, they could see the marauders struggling to regain control. Lyra, inspired by Alex's strategy, remembered a small piece of alien technology she had taken from the wreckage of her ship. It was a compact energy projector, capable of disrupting small energy fields. Carefully, she adjusted the device and aimed it at one of the marauder ships. A brief pulse emitted, and the ship's engines sputtered. The attackers stumbled, unsure what had caused the interference. Alex's eyes widened in surprise. "Impressive," he said, glancing at Lyra. "Not bad for someone who's never used human tactics." Lyra smiled faintly, her confidence growing. Together, they were combining human ingenuity and alien technology. The marauders were clever, but they had never faced an opponent like this team. The battle continued, but Alex and Lyra used every advantage the terrain offered. Narrow cliffs prevented the ships from maneuvering freely. Loose rocks and sudden energy pulses slowed the attackers, and Lyra's knowledge of alien technology gave them a unique edge they could not have achieved alone. Hours passed, and the tide began to turn. The marauders, frustrated and trapped in the rocky valley, realized their attack had failed. Alex's traps had slowed them, Lyra's device had disrupted their engines, and every movement was calculated with precision. Finally, the marauders retreated, retreating in their damaged ships toward the horizon. Their weapons fired sparingly, unable to hit Alex and Lyra's protected position. When the last ship disappeared, Lyra collapsed onto the ground, exhausted but relieved. Alex knelt beside her, checking her for injuries. "You did great," he said. "Without your device, it would have taken much longer to make them retreat." Lyra smiled weakly, her pride mixed with relief. "We did it together," she said. "Humans, you are clever, brave, and fast-thinking. I see now why you can survive in so many dangerous places." Alex chuckled. "And you, Princess, are clever too. Resourceful, smart, and brave. That device of yours was a game-changer." They rested for a moment, catching their breath. Lyra looked at the river flowing nearby and the cliffs surrounding them. "I never thought I would survive the marauders," she admitted softly. "But with you, I feel stronger, safer, more capable." Alex smiled. "That's the point. Humans survive not just by strength, but by using their brains, their courage, and by working together. And now you've learned some of that too." Lyra's violet eyes reflected admiration and gratitude. "I want my people to know, humans are not just simple creatures. You are intelligent, brave, and compassionate. You can fight but also think, adapt, and save lives. That is something my people should remember." Alex nodded. "It's good you see that, and it's good we work together. There's more of this galaxy to explore and more dangers ahead, but we can handle it." As night fell over the river valley, they set up camp again. Alex used his portable shields to block the wind and keep their location hidden. Lyra helped, feeling stronger and more confident in her abilities. Together, they were a team, not just human and alien, but allies capable of facing challenges far greater than either could have handled alone. That night, under the stars, Lyra and Alex shared stories of their worlds. She described the floating cities of Viralia, the libraries of knowledge, and the royal traditions. He spoke of Earth, its diversity, and the human drive to explore and protect. Each story built respect and trust between them, a bond that could survive storms, marauders, and harsh planets. For Lyra, the day had been terrifying, exhausting, and yet inspiring. She had faced the same enemies who had left her abandoned and defeated, and now, with a human beside her, she had survived. She felt something she hadn't felt in days: hope. Alex, meanwhile, felt pride in his new ally. Lyra had not only survived, but had shown courage, intelligence, and ingenuity. Humans could survive anywhere, but now he realized that collaboration with other species made survival and victory possible even against overwhelming odds. The night was quiet, but both knew the journey was far from over. Beyond the river valley, unknown dangers awaited: wild creatures, treacherous terrain, and the possibility that the marauders might return. Yet they also knew one simple truth: together, they were stronger than any threat they could face, and so, with the stars above and the river murmuring beside them, the human soldier and the alien princess prepared for the next stage of their journey, a journey not just of survival, but of courage, ingenuity, and the growing bond between two species learning to trust and rely on each other. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but for Lyra and Alex, there was hope. Together, they could face anything. The sky over Terrace 5 was painted in shades of gold and pink as the first light of dawn crept across the jagged cliffs and river valley. Princess Lyra and Captain Alex Mercer had spent several days navigating the dangerous terrain, avoiding wild creatures, and fending off the marauders who had once attacked her royal ship. Now, as the final stretch of their journey to safety approached, the air was thick with anticipation. Alex checked his sensors one last time before they moved toward the distant signal that indicated a nearby Allied station. "We're close," he said. The station is in a canyon about 5 kilometers from here. If we keep moving carefully, we'll reach safety by nightfall." Lyra nodded, her strength having returned fully thanks to Alex's guidance and care. The journey had been grueling, but every step had strengthened her confidence. She realized that survival was not just about enduring pain or avoiding danger, it was about learning, adapting, and trusting others. And she had learned to trust Alex completely. As they approached the canyon, a low hum echoed across the rocks. Lyra's eyes widened. "Alex? The Marauders! They're back!" Alex's jaw tightened, but he remained calm. "Stay behind me. We'll use the terrain again. They'll not catch us off guard this time." From the ridge above, the Marauders' ships descended slowly, scanning the valley. But this time, Alex had a plan. Using small mirrors and sensors from his pack, he reflected sunlight and created false heat signatures across the canyon floor. The Marauders' scanners flickered, confused by the decoys. Lyra watched, fascinated, as Alex moved with precision and speed, positioning the devices to create multiple illusions. "You're humans? You think of everything?" she whispered, amazed at his ingenuity. Alex glanced at her. "It's called preparation. Strategy is as important as courage." As the Marauders moved closer, their ships slowed, scanning for movement. Alex activated the decoys, creating flashes of energy and movement in several directions. The attackers paused, uncertain which path was real. "Now!" Alex shouted. They sprinted along a narrow rock path, hidden by the canyon walls. Lyra's heart raced, but she felt safe with him leading. Together they dodged the Marauders' scanning beams and avoided pitfalls. Suddenly, one Marauder ship spotted them and fired a laser pulse. Alex pushed Lyra to the ground just in time. The beam struck the canyon wall, scattering rocks harmlessly. "Stay low and keep moving," he shouted. Lyra scrambled after him, adrenaline pumping through her veins. She activated the small alien device she had carried since the pod crash. A brief pulse emitted from it, temporarily disrupting the Marauder ship's targeting system. The attackers swerved, confused and disoriented. Alex smiled. Perfect timing. Working together, human and alien combined tactics and technology. Alex's strategy slowed the Marauders, while Lyra's knowledge of alien devices provided the edge needed to confuse and mislead them. The canyon's twists and cliffs became their ally, protecting them from direct attacks. Finally, after a tense hour, the last Marauder ship retreated, leaving behind nothing but dust and distant echoes. Lyra sank to the ground, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," she whispered. "We survived." Alex knelt beside her. "Yes, we did. Together." He offered her a hand to help her stand. "And now, we reach the station. Safety is close." The station loomed ahead, nestled in the heart of the canyon. Its metal towers reflected the sunlight, and small ships moved in and out of the docking bays. Guards stationed around the perimeter immediately noticed the approaching duo. Using universal communications, Alex signaled their arrival. A team quickly approached, led by Varelian officers familiar with Princess Lyra. Their leader, Commander Thalen, gasped as he saw her. "Princess Lyra! You're alive!" Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she said softly. "Thanks to him, Captain Alex Mercer. He saved me." Commander Thalen looked at Alex with respect and awe. "A human saved the princess? Remarkable. You have our gratitude and admiration." Alex shook his head humbly. "I did what anyone would do. She was in danger, and I helped. That's all." Lyra smiled at him, grateful beyond words. She knew that his courage, skill, and intelligence had made the difference. Without him, she might not have survived. The Varelian guards escorted them into the station. Alex followed, careful not to overwhelm her with attention, letting Lyra take the lead. Inside, the princess addressed her people via a secure communication link. My people, she began, her voice strong and clear. I have returned because of bravery, intelligence, and compassion. A human soldier, Captain Alex Mercer, saved my life. Humans may be new to our galaxy, but they possess courage and wisdom that deserve our respect. Let this be a beginning of understanding and alliance. The message was met with awe and admiration. Lyra's words carried weight. The story of a human saving a princess spread quickly through Virelian channels, earning Alex the recognition of a people he had never known. After the formalities, Lyra took Alex to a private chamber. I wanted to thank you properly, she said. You risked yourself to save me, guided me, and taught me along the way. You are more than a soldier. You are a hero. Alex smiled. I did what was right. You did most of the work yourself. Your courage, your quick thinking, and your device saved us both many times. Lyra shook her head. Without you, I wouldn't have survived. You are clever, brave, and kind. My people should learn from you, from humans. You are not just survivors. You are helpers, thinkers, and warriors when needed. Alex chuckled. Well, I hope we can work together more in the future. Humans and Virelians have a lot to learn from each other. Lyra nodded, a bright smile on her face. Yes. Together we can protect our people, explore the stars, and face whatever dangers come. Today was not just about survival. It was about trust, friendship, and respect. In the following days, Lyra recovered fully. Alex continued to assist with communication and technical support as the Virelians repaired her ship and prepared it for the journey home. Every day, their bond grew stronger, not just as human and alien, but as friends and allies. The story of their adventure spread throughout the galaxy. Humans, once underestimated by many alien civilizations, were now seen as courageous, intelligent, and dependable. Lyra ensured that her people remembered Alex's actions and the lessons of cooperation and respect. Before leaving for her home planet, Lyra addressed Alex one final time. You have changed the way my people see humans. You have shown bravery, intelligence, and compassion. For that, I will always be grateful. You are more than a soldier. You are a friend and a hero. Alex shook his head humbly. I only did what anyone would do. But thank you. That means a lot. The day came for Alex to leave the station. He climbed into his scout ship, ready to continue his mission across the galaxy. Lyra watched from the station's observation deck, feeling a mixture of gratitude and admiration. She knew she had witnessed something extraordinary, a human's courage and humanity at its best. As Alex's ship lifted into the sky, Lyra turned to her people. Remember this day, she said. Remember that courage comes in many forms, and that allies can be found where you least expect. Humans are worthy of our trust, respect, and friendship. Alex looked back one last time and waved. Lyra waved in return. Across the distance, a connection remained, a bond formed through danger, courage, and mutual respect. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown worlds and unseen dangers. But Lyra and Alex had proven that through courage, intelligence, and compassion, even the most unlikely allies could overcome any obstacle. Humans and Virelians working together could achieve what neither could alone. And so, the adventure ended, not just with survival, but with hope, friendship, and a new chapter of interstellar cooperation. Lyra returned to her people, stronger and wiser, carrying the story of a human soldier who had risked everything to save her. Alex continued his mission, inspired by the strength and courage of an alien princess. Both had learned that survival, trust, and cooperation were more powerful than any weapon or technology. The stars above twinkled like the promise of new beginnings, and somewhere in the galaxy, two worlds, human and Virelian, were forever connected by courage, friendship, and the spark of humanity.